And hello, you're flying Tironan's very unfriendly skies, and today we have the XF5U. This was an interesting aircraft, and this is a request video from a subscriber who wanted to see what this aircraft, wanted to know how to build it, how to fly it, and it happens to be something that is one of my favorite aircrafts in the game, so why the heck not? All right, so we have the aircraft, enjoy it, have a great time with it, and there's a lot to talk about. First off, it's not like any other aircraft. This one was actually went through a prototype pre-plane to prove the concept, and then went and became what was prototype for production. Now, this thing had some amazing properties. It could take off in a few feet. It could actually slow down and land almost vertically. And when we're talking, less than 100 foot sit down and then come to a complete stop, you're talking about one hell of an aircraft with some amazing capabilities. And so you look at this thing and you think, well, the problem was it came so late in its development that the U.S. military, in this case the U.S. Navy, who was the one that you could understand why they would be very interested in this aircraft, had it arrived in 1944, they would have been all over it. The problem was it arrived in 1946 over budget, and the shiny new jets were coming out. In the long term, that makes a lot of difference. The way that this works is that a long, broad wing normally isn't very efficient because of the amount of air that spills out over the sides of the very long wing. Okay, and I'm talking about chord, the front to back measurement of the aircraft. Well, this is a lifting body, as it would be known later, and you can see the same concept applied to the space shuttle. Okay, and some of the early, in fact, you still see some lifting bodies being played with to this day, especially from orbit to ground reentry. And what made this so amazing was that this World War II development cycle. Wow, you talk about ahead of its time. Okay, let's talk a little bit about bringing this aircraft up as it is in the game. It's frustrating. Okay, you get the slower engine, you get the first airframe, you get 650 caliber machine guns, the same thing you get out of a P-51D. And this isn't a very maneuverable aircraft. You're talking 12.1 turn circle. So if you get in a turning contest with somebody, you're kind of hosed. Okay, well, that's fine. So, what do you got? Well, what makes it so frustrating is the fact that you've got 50 caliber machine guns. You have to hang around with somebody, and you get to match all their twists and turns while you chew them up. You're going to want a pilot that is highly accurate. So you're going to want marksman 1 and 2 if you can get it. And then you're just going to have to grit your teeth and get through the first two gun evolutions. You have to get your heavy calibers, and then you get your M39s. Now the M39 cannon is a 1,500 rounds per minute cannon. It's kind of an interesting story in and of itself. Someday I may do a video on it. If I ever find enough background material, I may write a book on it. It's kind of interesting. Evolution in engineering fallacies, overloads, over-engineering. We can do it better. We can do it worse. You've heard me talk about this innumerable times. There were 6 companies that worked on this: Orkalan, Bofors, the French, the British, the Russians, and the Americans all worked on it. Nobody got it out in less than 6 years. And the Americans kind of had a bad case. We can do it better, and then had to fight their way out of what they'd made. The development story on it is extremely interesting. It ended up being used in the F5 Freedom Fighter and some other aircraft. What you're seeing here is I'm enhancing the engine and the sight, and the reason for that is I'm going to a bolt carrier here, the strengthened bolt carriers, And what this does is give you a lengthened burst at the cost of accuracy. This is not normally the way that I outfit an aircraft, but a good friend that I fly with all the time in my clan, Mantis, swears by it, so we're going to go ahead and give it a try. I can get away with that because the pilot has marksman 1 and 2, and then I have a sight on top of that, so I still get pretty good accuracy. How far I want to enhance that, however, is another story entirely. But we'll give it a try and just accept that as me trying to get something out of this while doing an informative video. And hopefully you find this informative. All right, so there you have the aircraft, as it were. It's good aircraft. It is a strict turn and burn. All right, if you treat it as anything else, it's not going to have a happy consequence for you. 12.1%, 12.1 second turn time is not your friend when you get up there and you find a P-51 on your tail. If he flies that aircraft correctly, and you're not likely to win that. That is true of all boom and zoomers when you get fast, high-flying P-51s, I-250s. Take your choice of high-speed single-engine fighters up there. They'll eat your lunch. That's true of every boom and zoom. So, be prepared to deal with that. All right, so a little bit about this video. This is one of those where the other side had much better bots, so I'm done with that whole bit. I went and looked on the forum, and sure enough, World of Warships admitted as much as they set you a limit. Mine is at 49.98%, and I'm over that limit. So the other side gets a better bot, and I can't be in 3 different places at the same time. Therefore, the bots win. All right. My suggestion, I saw people getting really upset, threatening to leave the game. That's the way they're going to run the game. As far as I'm concerned, it's a well-designed game. It's still a lot of fun. You just can't hang your ego on your win-loss record. So, yeah, if they took the restriction off, would I be above 50%? Yeah. Some of the earlier players do not have that limitation. I will not mention names. It's just grandfathered over from the old game, and it is what it is. All right, pointing fingers at other people that for decisions they didn't make is not something I'm going to participate in. All right, so we have the our archipelago stumbling block set up here, and we're going to have fun with this. This is a good map for this this fighter, and we'll show how it's used. Now, one thing you will see me do here is this aircraft is not maneuverable. I'm going to say it over and over again so you do not forget. We are carrying the 2 TIM rockets so I can demonstrate their use, and you'll see me use it on a bomber as well. Though I did not get the Rocketeer for it. I was a little bit miffed about that, but I'll get over it. All right, let's move on. You'll also see a mistake, and I do not believe in hiding my mistakes. I will tell you when I do them. Learn from them. The smartest men are the people that learn from other people's mistakes. And I believe that to my dying day. All right, so we're going to come up on the command base. I will launch my 2 Teeny Tim rockets. And we have our first display of just how dumb our bots are. Okay, we have now all but killed that base. And you may notice a paucity of my own aircraft trying to take the base. Now watch this. 2-second burst. Now that is 2 aircraft down in about 7 seconds if I don't miss my timing here. If I have, call me on it. Now, I think there's an aircraft below me here, and sure enough there isn't. There's an anti-aircraft site trying to take me out. Alright. Now we have some aircraft show up, and they're fighters, but we have no ground attack aircraft here to help finish the job, and my aircraft is not what you'd use to take a site. Alright, we've got him taken out. We'll move on. And I'm just looking for my next victim. Now, again, you will notice how quick this aircraft is. I have no problem chasing him. That's a P-51D, and this is the one aircraft I really did not want to reach. Surprisingly, you notice he's out turning me. But I got a chunk of him there. Not making very good use of his aircraft. And it cost him. Now, I see the bombers in the distance, and I do not go after them because I'm trying to keep our base here, kill as many aircraft as I can, make it easier for, I already know I have the bad bots, and to the degree I can level it out and I can kill other aircraft. That was the thinking. Alright, we're going to dive on this fellow. See if we can do what we can to take him out and clear the road a little bit for our guys. And he's gone. By the way, it was taken out by the other aircraft, not me. Now that one is all due to that long burst length I was after. Mantis may not have been wrong. I had my doubts. Alright, I have an aircraft behind me. I am counting on my speed to get out of the way. Love that clip. Sneak it in once in a while. All right. Now you notice he has got about 50% of his health left, and that's the end of him. Yes, zeros colliding with 20 millimeters is not a good thing. And it finally occurs to me when we have next to no base left, there's bombers up here. Alright, so we'll take out one of them right here. And I just went through one of our friendly fighters. Not a good thing. Still a bot, so I'm not all that worried about it. And they haven't accomplished much, obviously. Okay, we'll go straight after the bombers this time. Try to save our last remaining base. See if we can't take this to the squall line and eliminate the rest of the fighters. Which is all I'm left with at this point.
Be advised, a line of thunderstorms is approaching. We'll
All right, do a head-on pass, and I have rockets, and I hit him with a rocket. At this point, I'm just after revenge points. And that will about wrap this one up. I don't think we can recover from this. Yes, that is a flying paladin badge, and we still lost. Now, there are a number of things I could have done to help more. I was very interested in showing how to use the plane and necessarily winning. And it's also pretty obvious that the other side really does have the better fighters. Or the better bots, I should say. Like I said, I'm kind of done with that whole nonsense. Since World Warplanes admits that they are limiting players and trying to challenge them by keeping them at certain levels, it is what it is. All sorts of badges. And you'll notice the big number of kills that I got there, and even assisted with one. Even did a little damage to some ground targets. However, had a GA followed me in, we would have captured the base. Things would have worked out a lot better. Unfortunately, it is what it is. All right. Like I said, this is one of my favorite aircraft, and if it's played correctly, it really is something else. It is an absolute murdering pancake. You can hit an aircraft so hard, so fast, that it literally hasn't got a chance to get out of your way. How do I know this? Well, I've done it, and I've had it done to me when these things are flying. They can take out ground attack aircraft like nobody's business. They are extremely good against other boom and zoomers. You saw me take down 2 or 3 of them. They're even good against other fighters. You just have to treat it as a sniper slash heavy fighter slash boom and zoom, with some very secondary ground attack capabilities. All right, you just simply do not get enough of you don't regen your ordnance fast enough to make it worthwhile. You can go in and pop a couple of targets. You can use them against enemy aircraft. The TNT rockets hitting anything will destroy it instantly. No matter how many hit points it's got, there's no aircraft for 4,500 hit points in the game. You can use it for that. You can also use this to absolutely dominate the skies at the high end. But this is not a ground attack aircraft, nor is it a turn and burn. If you bring it into the middle of a fur ball, then expect to get shot down. Diving through a fur ball may sound great, but you'd be better off to go pick a target on the outside of a fur ball, kill it, get back out of range, come back in, pick another target, rinse, wash, and repeat as often as necessary to win the game. All right. Once you get the 20 millimeter, my opinion of this aircraft just did a 180-degree turn real quick. I thought this was just a total waste of my time and effort. I was frustrated as all get out. I had a bad case. I spent time and effort to get this thing, and I haven't got good things to say about it. And I have several videos when I'm bringing it up to just talk about what a dog this thing is. That changed when you get the M39s on there. They are 1,500 rounds per minute per gun, and you have 4 of them. They are using shells that are moving at 3,300 feet per second. That is over 1,000 meters a second for the rest of the world. And They're just incredibly accurate. They're very hard hitting. You pull very little lead. You may have noticed on that GA that I took out, um, I was just pulling a very minimal amount of deflection to kill it. Um, it doesn't get a whole lot better than that. As for ground attack aircraft, it is one of the best out. Or ground attack aircraft, I'm sorry. As a boom and zoomer, it's about as good as it gets, and it fulfills the sniper role very well. Whether you take ordnance or not, that's going to be on you. I prefer the thing to be very fast. That 380 mile per hour cruise speed is extremely valuable. And when you think about it for a little bit, there's a lot of things out there that aren't nearly as good as it is in that regard. It makes it one of the fastest planes in Tier 8. Of course, the top goes to the ME-262, but you're doing very well indeed. So even some of the jet aircraft can't get away from you. You can chase most of those down. Now, for the next part of it. This has been a request video. One of the users wanted, my subscribers wanted to have a video on how to use it, and here it is. I hope you found it informative. Please remember to like the video, to subscribe, and if you want to support the channel, just go to the channel page, hit the subscribe button. It'll take you to the channel page, hit the about button, and you'll find a Patreon link. The money is used to get premium aircraft so I can show those to you. And the subscription rate, I only have $1 a month, because quite frankly, the idea of somebody spending more than that just turns my stomach. You know, I'm a hard-working guy, worked all my life, and you know, I know just how much a buck costs to get. All right, so that's the thoughts behind that. Listen, I appreciate every one of you. Thank you to all my subscribers, and please subscribe. I need all the subscribers I can get. Other than that, I want you all to have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.